Done. I win.
Cheryl, it's not a race.
That's what losers say.
What is that?
The truth. Every time a new baby is born, the Federal Reserve issues a secret birth certificate printed by a company called the American Bank. That way, the government can use people as currency to back the debt they have with the World Economic Forum, which owns the central banks of every nation on Earth. But the WEF is just a front for the Council on Foreign Relations, which masterminded the 9/11 attacks as a pretext to invade Iraq, take the oil, and install fast food chains to make people slow, fat, and easily abductable by the shape-shifting reptilian aliens it works with. Now, back in the 30s, FDR made a deal with these reptilians to exchange people for technology. That was the basis of the New Deal. But ever since, they've been slowly replacing all the world leaders to create a nuclear holocaust to make global warming real for their takeover. That's how they made up the Cold War, by sending Leica to space to bite Neil Armstrong while Kubrick was faking the moon landing. Now they're using satellite waves, contrails, and measles vaccines as mind control, and fluoridating the water to keep people's gold fillings intact so they can be sent back to, you guessed it, the Federal Reserve, where all the gold and birth certificates are stored by the real puppet master, the world monarch, who is himself only the servant of the all-seeing eye who controls everything in the world.
I was wrong. You do win.
Wow. That was a lot. And a lot of people will say, that's not true. That can't be true. I mean, she just connected birth certificates, the Federal Reserve, reptilian aliens, Neil Armstrong, fast food chains, Kubrick, and fluoride, all in one breath. Now, that's not just some typical conspiracy board. That's a full-blown Wikipedia speedrun on caffeine. But here's the funny part. Every time someone strings together 40, some would say disconnected conspiracy theories like this, it always accidentally exposes something real underneath all of the noise. Because while there may or may not be secret birth certificate vaults under the Fed, we do have a real problem, a very real problem with government financial gains. For example, and this is a fact, the US government pays over $1 trillion a year in interest on the national debt. Money that actually enriches big banks and foreign lenders. Another fact, the Federal Reserve is a private banking cartel with outsized influence over your life, the economy, and the cost of everything you buy. Another fact, we really did abandon the gold standard in 1971, which gave the Fed the power to print unlimited money, which is why your groceries cost double now. We didn't need aliens for that. We just need constant bad policies. And the part about controlling the population, listen, you don't need reptilian shapeshifters when you have smartphones, when you have TikTok algorithms, when you have politicians who can't balance a budget but can run a PR campaign like it's the Super Bowl, like Karen Bass and people like that, or Newsom. Let's be real. The funniest part is when she says fast food chains are a part of an abduction program. Have you seen a McDonald's line? Nobody needs to abduct you when you're already in line at McDonald's at 2 a.m. Half of America is willingly abducted by the dollar menu. Now, satellite waves, chemtrails, vaccines, fluoride, moon landing. At this point, we've entered the just throw everything in a pot and hope it tastes good stage of the conspiracy gumbo. However, are these really conspiracies? Are they? Because conspiracy is a cute word to throw you off the trail. When the governmental, they control your mindset. When they don't want you knowing something, when they don't want you thinking about something, they call it conspiracy. Here's the real takeaway. People make videos like this because they're trying to awaken something within you. Awaken something with you that will get you to understand you should not trust the government. They lie over and over and over and over again. For them, it's about control. And everybody underneath them, be it mainstream media, whoever, they work for them. They work with them. Don't you remember Iraq? Don't you remember Tuskegee, COINTELPRO, Epstein? The list never ends. So when somebody talks like this, you should listen, because very rarely do you see people talk like this. Because one, it's dangerous. Number two, they know that most likely somebody is going to try to pin them as crazy. But if you look at history, you'll realize the majority of people like that predicted something that we're dealing with right now, right here. Because in 2025, the craziest conspiracy theory is the one where the government tells the truth.